Hindsight Radio, the place for right knowledge.
Peace, everybody. Peace. What's going on? Listening to your host, Akiem on the More Empire Building Show here on Hindsight Radio. The information station changing the nation. All right. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope your family's doing well. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're reaching your goals of prosperity, all of the goals you set out at the beginning of the year. I hope it's working out for you, and you continue to progress. One of the biggest things I notice people, what hinders them in their progress is they think too much. They can't turn off the mind who wants to always second guess actions. They can't turn that function off. You know, they could have a document already done and they go back, trying to find something wrong with it to fix it when it was already good when it started off. You know, sometimes I tweak documents afterwards, but I move. I go ahead and I put it into action so that, you know, I can get the energy flowing with whatever I am trying to accomplish. I don't waste time. Too many people don't reach their goals because they do too much thinking and do too much second guessing. And that is the number one thing I believe why people don't accomplish anything, or they reach mediocre success. And then those same people will wonder, why can't I get anywhere? Why can't I? No, because you're not moving. You're not taking action. Or you're taking action a little bit at a time. You know, you do something, the spirit flows you to put something together, go move forward with it. You know how many documents I put on the record, and I went back and read the document, had misspellings, had bad grammar in a few places. I thought I double checked it, but I moved with the flow of the spirit, and it was still successful. So was it the grammar, the misspellings? I read Dan Pena's stuff all the time, and his stuff is full of what I would believe bad grammar and, wording, but he's a billionaire. See, the intellectuals, the people that are too smart for their own good, they're always broke. I worked at a bookstore with a guy who was he used to be a pilot in the Air Force, and he had a PhD. Yet I was his boss. A kid who had a GED education and some college. And I know people right now working in bookstores with bachelor's degrees and can't even pay their bills. And they paid all this money for this education, and it hasn't done anything for them. Now, I'm not going to totally blame that on the education. There's a few people I know personally that's having these financial issues and got these degrees. It's not their education that's the problem. It's their application of the education. It's their daily habits. It's their mind. Their mind that's the problem. How they process information. Because there's people with bachelor's degrees and PhDs that are doing well. So, how do they do well and this person with the same degree not doing well? The difference is the willpower and the mental aptitude of the person who has the degree, the education. It's like in this information. People read the same documents I read and come back with a totally different definition or a misunderstanding of the document. And they can try to put something together and it don't work. What's the difference? It's the mental and also spiritual aptitude of the person behind the information. So everything is run by how you process information, how you perceive it, and how you react to it. You know, I myself don't worry about too many things anymore. You know, every now and then a spirit of worry come up, and then I immediately stamp it out and say, "Oh, it's okay. Everything will be fine." Excuse me. I had to clear my throat there. And, you know, and I try to teach this to persons that I deal with and say, "Hey, you got these issues, they're going to take care of themselves." It's like what Reverend Ike said, it's already taken care of. The results is already taken care of. How that matter is going to turn out has already been determined. You just haven't gotten to that point in the physical yet. And that's a very hard concept for people to understand. How is it determined? You put it in your mind how you want it to end up, and then you just flow. You don't have to spend hours on paperwork and just thinking and going over things, taking days and hours doing this stuff. I know when I was in school and I studied for a test all night, I always failed. Now the test that I didn't study for, and I just, said it'll be okay, I passed. How do you figure? I tried to cram all this information, remember this, remember that, and get to the test, in time to do the test, I was a blank. But when I relaxed and allowed my confidence to say, "Oh, it's going to be all right, I'm going to pass that test," didn't even study, glance at a few things here and there, go take the test, all of a sudden I can recall things. Boom, boom, boom. I didn't have all the mental blocks. See, when you go and you try to spend hours trying to cram something in, all you can remember is the process of you cramming. Well, I was cramming this, and so your mind is full of all of these procedures you put into place that you are not really retaining the information. We were not created to second guess ourselves. Once the Spirit put in you to take care of something, you know it, and you know the truth when you hear it. You follow it, you do it, and you act on it. Every time I get an idea and I do something, and then I alter it from the original purpose or the original idea, it never turns out right. Let's say I apply this in another situation. When you first meet somebody, and you say, "Well, this is not a good idea for me to deal with this person," but you move forward anyway. And then you start having problems, and, well, you know what? I knew it. Why? Because the truth is you told you not to fool with that person. But you ignored it. You went at full steam ahead. We got to start applying these principles. With that being said, I'm going to get back into my book, The Science of Living Study Guide by Reverend Knight, Chapter 11. I'll read that, and then we're going to talk about obligations, specifically obligations of the United States.
And that static are being sacrificed. And that's, if your stuff's not available, they can't hear it. Sometimes you gotta feel your way through the dark, and I struggled all the way up into the minute. Peace, prosperity, and extreme wealth to all you guys.
Inside Radio, I represent it. The information station changing the nation.
And that static are being sacrificed. And that's, if your stuff's not available, they can't hear it. Sometimes you gotta feel your way through the dark, and I struggled all the way up into the minute. Peace, prosperity, and extreme wealth to all you guys.
This is Hindsight Radio. I represent it. The information station changing the nation.
What's up, everybody? It's December the 17th. How are you doing? How are you doing out there? We're getting very close to the January 1, 2024. Man, when you actually look back in the beginning of the year, it just seemed like we were just having these conversations yesterday. And when I'm thinking about that, we have to really pay attention to what we're doing on a daily basis. Really got to. Because before you know it, a whole year's gone by. That time that you say, I'm going to do it later, I'll do it in the next 5 minutes. Look at it, just ask yourself, just be honest, let's be real. Let's be real for a second. Let's be real with ourselves and ask ourselves a question. How many times have you said to yourself, I'm going to do it later? And did later actually get there? Did you actually do it later? How many times did it get away from you? Sometimes you'll do something later. But when you look at over the year, if you just recollect how many times you put something off and it took you days to get to it. Maybe a month, 2 months. How many times did you say to yourself, I'm going to start something this year? Just reflect back. This is an exercise. This is this is the time to reflect on the past year and look at your accomplishments, look at where you are, and checkpoint. And I know a large part of you have done great jobs with that, but still there's always room for improvement. Just look back and ask, how many times did I say I was going to do something and it took me a long time to get to it? Think about it, if you're being honest. Let me know in the chat. What do you have that happen to you? Have you did that? I know I did it a lot. There's some things I just got to that I said pretty much all year, and I just got to them yesterday. Like I do help people with trust, and I said I'm gonna create a form where I could just plug and play and just put the information in, and I could just enter what I need to enter, the basic elements of that trust is put together. And I just did that yesterday. And I've been saying it all year. And when I actually got to doing it, it really wasn't that hard. It wasn't that hard to do. It took me a few minutes to, this is how easy it is. I wish I did this. See, this is what I'm talking, why I did this exercise out for you to look at it. Because when you actually get to the thing that you've been putting off, you realize it won't take you that long to get it done. What took you a long time was the idea that it was going to take you a long time. And because you had that preconception in your mind and you wanted to put it off, because most times, let's also keep it real on this level. Most times when we putting stuff on, it's either something we really don't want to do or we feel like it's going to be hard to do. So we put it off and try to distract ourselves with other things. Just think about that. When I actually did, I said, man, and the reason why I was putting you off, because I thought it was going to be hard to make this form. I had all these preconceived ideas in my head about what it was going to be like, and it wasn't like that at all. That's why when Give me 1 second. That's why when I talked about this, I've talked about this a lot. When you get the idea, move on it. Just move on it, because the truth will be revealed in the process, in the application of that, putting that idea together. The truth will be revealed. See, I had the idea a long time. I'm going to make this form and that. But see, divine inspiration comes on all different levels. And sometimes we don't recognize it as a divine inspiration. But that was a divine. When I look back on it, that was a divine. Make it easier for yourself. Make that job easy. I just, I looked at it as a passing thought that that's something I needed to do. But I didn't look at it as one of my divine inspired, hey, to teach a message or anything. And I put it off almost a year and got to doing it and said, this was really easy. See, the divine inspiration came and I ignored it. Think about it. How many divine inspirations that you ignored this past year or you put off? Sometimes divine inspiration comes through someone else's words, inadvertently. Cognito or incognito. It comes. Just me telling you this all year long, saying the same thing. Like that recorded show that I did. That show was back in 2020 or 2021, and I'm listening to myself on that pre-recording. I'm saying the same thing I said before now, because it still applies. We're still conflicted, inflicted, affected, infected with not listening to that divine inner voice that speaks to us for our own success. We ignore it, and we allow distractions like TV programs, movies, and TikTok, and our phones, and children, work. We make those things more priority than that inner voice. If you listen to that truthful voice, that God voice that speaks to you, it will direct all your steps. It'll direct it. It's when we get off that direction, we find issues. We run into problems. So, back to what I was saying. Anybody in the chat want to share? Just share. Has that happened to you where you had an idea, you put it off, then when you finally got to it, and it wasn't as bad as you thought it was going to be, as you anticipated? Procrastinated. Procrastination. Procrastination is a tool of avoidance, tool to avoid accountability to the things you need to do for your own success. Who's out there? We got Said Mayor says good morning. Good morning to you. Son of the one true king. Greetings, Akiem, into all greetings and blessings. Arlene L says good morning as and La Vida says happy day. DJ B Thunder says morning everyone. Then he also says peace, love, and extreme prosperity to everyone. And I second that. Peace, prosperity, and extreme wealth to everyone. Now and into the new year and beyond. So I sent out the invitations for the money ritual that we're going to be doing on the 31st, New Year's Eve. If you didn't get it, go to my website, akeml.com, and put yourself on a mailing list. I will send it out again this week. I'll send it out today. So DJ B Thunder says, I have been putting off making a dresser because I don't think my wood skills are good enough, but I'm going to start working on it today. Good. I like to hear that you're going to see. That's the thing. We don't think it's our skills are good enough to even do that. And let's just say maybe you're not experienced at building a dresser. But guess what will happen? You will learn through that experience. Got to start somewhere. The whole idea of building a dresser, yes, the end goal is you want a functional dresser, but it's really teaching you a skill. Teaching yourself how to build a dresser. Will you make mistakes? Probably. Most likely, that's highly likely, especially if you're inexperienced in that field. But the mistakes are not to be looked at as an obstacle or as a problem. The mistakes are to be looked at as a process of growing and learning how to build a dresser properly. So many projects I've done, I've just taken them on. I didn't really have the skill set or training that I think I should have. But I'm thankful that I moved forward in it because as I worked in it, I got better. Like, for instance, I mentioned just before, when we started the trucking company, we sourced out our dispatching. Almost a large part of the existence of the company when we needed one. Right? We got rid of the dispatcher, then we came back earlier this year, got a dispatcher because we were getting a new truck, because the other truck we were just using mainly with doing Amazon work. You don't need a dispatcher for that. That's just simple click and book. And I think we got the new dispatcher back in January, ended our relationship maybe March or April of this year. Then I realized that I was doing better in dispatching than the people that were supposed to have the skills to do it. I learned very fast. First month, I think it was like $14,000 in revenue brought in. My first month doing my own dispatching with no experience, never doing it before. Then the next month it was 20. Now, it's more than that. You see? So I learned through application. That's how things work. You learn through application. Yes, someone can give you the nuts and bolts of the process of doing stuff, but your real skills come from application. Your real success comes from application and consistent working at your success. Every time you take a break from whatever it is you're trying to be successful at, that break is a liability to your success. That time you say, I gotta do this. I'm not gonna do this, but I'm gonna do this. Especially if it's an extracurricular activity that's not bringing you any revenue. And speaking of extracurricular activities that don't bring you any revenue, think about this too. How many things that you're doing on a daily basis are revenue generating tasks? I can tell you right now, most people, 85%ers, meaning 85% that's in the workforce, spend a lot of time on making or wage generating tasks. But when I talk about revenue generating tasks, that's a business term, meaning bringing in revenue for your company, for your business, or even if it's a side hustle. How many tasks that you do on a daily basis that's a revenue generating task? follow me. I'm just trying to get you to think about your days. How many tasks are you doing? Because I can guarantee you a lot of people are not doing, most stuff they do is not revenue generating tasks. Most people are, like I said, wage earners, so they're doing wage generating tasks for the most part of their days throughout the week. And then the rest of that time, they're looking for that downtime with, until they have to get up the next day or the next time to go to work. Now, when you think about it like that, most people are spending most of their waking hours just earning a wage. And the rest, whatever's left over, goes to themselves and their family. And that's not a whole lot of time. Now, to you people who want to be in business or thinking about business, or people who got working on businesses and they haven't really put it out there yet, how many things or tasks you're doing during the day is a revenue generating task? Because the more you work at a revenue generating task, the more money you'll make. The less you do that, the less money you make. See, wherever you invest your time in, that's where you're going to get the payout. If most of your time is watching television, your payout is the memory of that program that you're watching. But your revenue generating task is going to suffer. If you just scanning Facebook and all the other stuff, and you look at those times that you spend doing that, your revenue generating task is going to suffer because that's where you invested your time. And you can make money pretty much at doing anything. There's people, like I said, as a kid, making millions of dollars opening up toys and talking about how much he don't like or like those. There's people acting like dogs on the internet, getting millions of views. They're making money. There's people on the internet doing videos about ratchet stuff, making money. Another good way to make money and get your channel. If you look, I'm just talking YouTube and content creating. It's just reviewing products. There's channels where people just got an AI talking, reviewing products. How I love my PS5. Reviewing cars. Oh, let me tell you about my car and what it can do. So it's so many ways and opportunities for everyone to thrive and make a good living. But people are doing these tasks anyway. You're scrolling through that phone anyway. How about making that phone make you some money? At least try to get that phone to pay for itself. I talk to my boys over there. They like gaming. I like gaming. I'm a gamer, right? And I tell them, well, if you're going to spend all your time on that game, how about you let everybody see you doing it? Seeing you play this game. Let them criticize you or praise you, one or the other, and make some money doing that. That's the way I say. I don't criticize people for what they do. What I say is, if that's what you want to do, monetize it. Here's my next question. These are all questions I'm posing to prepare you for what you need to be reflecting on into the new year. Here's the other question. What is it you like to do that you do all the time and you can make some money off of it? Oh, Akiem, all I do is watch TV all day. Okay, well then why don't you watch these TV programs, create you a channel talking about the show? See, there's no escaping opportunities to make money. There is trillions of ways to make money. Well, I can make money talking about The Young and the Restless. Yeah. If that show still comes on, I don't know. I can make money talking about the sounds of freedom. Yeah. Oh. Well, Akiem, I don't watch TV. All I do is read books. Oh, you could talk about the book that you read. Hey, I'm reading this book, and this is an interesting chapter that I turn in. Come on, there's no excuses. See, if you like to read book, you can take your story time, reading time. You know, let's say 20 minutes you read. Open up your channel or whatever and start reading that book. Hey, there's somebody out there that wants to read that same book and may not have time to read it. You could just, or I don't know what the legalities of actually reading a book. You probably could read excerpts from the book without just totally narrating the book. Just talk about your opinion about different chapters. And guess what happened? People will get on your channel. Yeah, I thought the same thing. Well, I don't agree with you. I'm giving you both sides of the coin. The agreements and the disagreement, because anything you do, people are going to disagree and agree with you. That's just the way life is. People are not going to always see eye to eye with you. There's more ways to make money. Easy ways. These are easy ways to make money. Oh, Akiem, I got to get my camera just right. No, you don't. You can just use your cell phone and be like this. It's your book. I see so many people with millions of views and they got crappy video quality because people ain't really caring about the quality of the, because if they're like me, a lot of times I don't sit there just staring at the screen. I listen to what they're saying. And I'm doing other things, listening to it. That if you instead of sitting there watching a program sometimes, why don't you'll get a different experience from a program if you listen to it rather than sit there and watch it. You'll get a different interpretation. It's a whole different experience. You're hearing, and your listening skills will go up. You'll be able to hear words and pick out things like, wait, what was that? If you're watching the screen, being distracted by what's on screen and trying to hear at the same time, you miss stuff. See, there's so many ways to make money. It's the money making ways is endless. But see, the issue is simple. Most people don't feel like their idea is worthy enough for anybody to buy into their business. They don't believe in that they can come up with that $1 million idea. That's everybody else's thing, not mine. I'm not that person. That's not, you know what I'm telling you? That's not me. That's you. You're different. I hear that all the time. And I look at it and I say, I'm like Christ when they say that. When that story when Jesus wept and they were Lazarus trying to wake him up, get him, resurrect him. See, that's an allegory. And that's how most people are. They're dead in their thinking. They have died to the possibilities that they can become a millionaire. Died to the possibilities that they're divine creations of God and everything they do is just divinity. They don't see themselves. Dead. And I look and I say, shake my head. If they only knew who they really are. See, because most people's belief in themselves is the belief that they took on from society, their friends, and their family. Most people's belief is no bigger than the circle that they run in. And if your circle that you run in is not believing in anything and they're doing nothing, they're not going anywhere, that's where you're gonna go. Nowhere. See, I see circles on different levels. I see circle on the extreme poverty level. These are extremely poverty people hang out with extremely poverty people. And the reason why they stay extremely impoverished is because their circle is that. That's their world. See, we're all on the same planet, but we're all living in different worlds. I want y'all to know that. We're all living in different realities of what we think is good for us or bad. Even if you're in a household with someone, you're married. My world is different from my wife's world. I'm telling you, y'all don't get y'all. That's why y'all arguing, cause my world is where things are turning in my head is a different reality. And things turning in her head is a whole different reality, and those two worlds come boom, boom, boom. Because why? I want my world to be her world. And that's not possible. That's never going to work. It's not going to work. So you have to step back and say, this is my reality that I'm creating for myself. Now, how do I take this reality and make it a complement to her reality and vice versa? Instead of trying to force my reality that way, I try to complement the two realities together. It's just all in how you shift it around in your mind. But what I'm trying to tell you is most people's world and how they view each other, how they view themselves is on different levels. Like the point I was trying to make, extremely impoverished people typically hang out with more extremely impoverished people. Let's move on up the scale. Let's just say middle class people typically hang out with middle class people. Working class people, people who have jobs, typically hang out with people with jobs. People without jobs typically associate most of their time with people without jobs. Or what I mean by jobs, people who have businesses. Why? Because the realities of those worlds are different. Not because one person is better than the other. It's just that I'm in a different place as far as employment and all that. Employment is a no-no for me. Clocking in and clocking out is a no-no for me now. All I can see for myself is business, big business, $1 million business, multi-billion-dollar businesses. That's all I see. That's the vision. And I'm not know that I can't do that clocking in for somebody's job. I can't do that. That's a step down from my divine purpose. I can't come off. Y'all could call it a high horse or whatever you want it. I'm not coming off that horse. I refuse. I got too many skills. I could cut hair. I was a great salesman. And I think I speak fairly well. There's so much to talk about out there. I can get on here and just talk about it. If I want to do reviews on cars and stuff like that, I'll do that too. One thing I won't do, I won't get up here and be gossiping like some of these channels are doing about people's business. And I have no interest in doing that like that. That they got so many channels dedicated to doing that. First of all, I don't even think that's a masculine quality to be gossiping about who doing this and arguing back and forth on the internet. That's just, to me, I think that's what's destroying the masculine structure of our society. All that going, real men, they ain't got time to be talking about other people. What they got time for is that we got to take care of business for our family. Let's make this happen. How we making money? What big moves we making? That's all real to me, my interpretation of a man should be dealing with. Because our whole existence to be here is to protect, provide for our families. That's what we're here for. We ain't here to be looking for praise for it. We're not here for people to feel sorry for us. We ain't got time for all that. Oh, get in touch with your feminine side. What? That's why you have a woman in your life. That's the feminine side. I'll be touching the feminine side from over there. Yeah, I'm touching it. No, that's how I get in touch with the feminine side. Okay. All right. Front side, back side. Let me stop. We're about to go too far. Y'all talk about get in touch with your feminist. No, I got time to play. Okay, feminine women are feminine. That's their job. It's not mine. My job is to be a man. Okay. All right. So, listen, there's so many ways for y'all to make it happen, man. I can run down the list. You can know how to fix cars. You can get on the internet just talking about how to fix a alternator, change the serpentine belt. I use a mechanic term, or change that belt that runs everything. Come on. There's so many ways to be doing that. To make y'all bread. We really have to stop limiting ourselves through our thoughts. Nobody's limiting you. You're limiting yourself. The moment an idea comes and you say, wait a minute, well, what about this? This might be this and this and that. You're limiting yourself. Stop. You don't have to do that. You shouldn't do that. You are limitless beings, infinite, forever, immortal. Your spirit is immortal. It lives on. So you're created as an immortal spiritual being to be limited. You're not limited in your existence. So why do you limit yourself in this physical realm? Well, Akiem, I want to do this, but I need it to be perfect. I gotta have it this right, and let me put this over here, this over here. Man, I've been hearing that from several people all year long, and they have not made me wrong yet. I want them to laugh in my face. Akiem, you was wrong. But what you said, you didn't know what you was talking about. I want that, but I can't get it. They won't give me that satisfaction because I'm not wrong. To all of the perfectionists, and you got to get it right. That's exactly where you're going to be stuck. This time next year, saying the same thing. Yes. I'm 100 on that one. People who procrastinate and talk about how they want to make it perfect and this and that, they never get started. People who just jump right in and just do it no matter what, and even if it ain't perfect, end up being successful. See, those people didn't those people that just jumped right in didn't make me a liar at all. To all the ones that believe that they got to get it perfect and get it right, and they got to prime this and up this and side this and nitpick this and this and that, please make me wrong. Please do it. But I know you can't, because you're paralyzed by the idea that because you get it perfect and you just see, let me break down that psychology real quick. why people mislead themselves like that. Because they think they're looking at other people's channel and how perfected, or they're looking at other people's stuff and how great it is at that moment. I want my stuff like that. And in some way they might be like, I want it right. I got to look a certain, it's an image thing. It's an ego thing. I can't have people looking at me. Let's call it what it is. Let's call it what it is. You're afraid for people to criticize your work. Period. You're afraid to get criticism. That's it. It's that one thing. That's why you won't get started. That's why you won't do it. I can't have, you're thinking, well, who's going to see it? What they going to say? And I'm sorry, y'all. I don't care how perfect you get it, how fancy the intro and the outro is and the background is, you're still going to get criticized. Need I remind you that Christ came in here and rose people from the dead and he still got criticized. So why are you not going to get criticized? I don't know. I don't know where you even get the gall to even believe that. He raised you from the dead. He healed people with all kind of illnesses that they had for years that the priest before that couldn't even heal. And them same people, them same cats, them same crazy people rooted for him to die. When it was the scribes and Pharisees that put him on trial, that went after him. Y'all need to hear this. They went after him, and all he did was heal. And them same people saw him heal. And it was like, impale him. Going along with the crowd. So it don't matter how perfect you do it, how perfect you are. Do y'all understand? That is the story of Christ. That's what it's teaching you. It's teaching you that you could do everything perfect and people still gonna hate you. They still gonna not like you. They still gonna criticize you. Well, yeah, he rose him for the dead, but he ain't put no new clothes on him. He ain't get him dressed right. He still kind of smell. So they gonna find something to pick at. And here's the thing. Christ knew that when he was doing all of these miracles. He knew that's why he was doing them. He said, I'm gonna come down here for these folks that I know are not going to appreciate me, but I'm going to do the will of the Father. I'm going to do the will of the higher consciousness, because what I'm doing, this work I'm doing, is for something greater than my recognition of what I'm doing. Because it's for the few that will really realize and come to the realization of their own Christ within them to see the power of living out Christ within themselves. That's what's the purpose. It wasn't about getting praise for it. See, the work that you're trying to do, this idea, whatever it is, it's not about getting praise for it. It's about living out your Christ consciousness, living out your purpose, and letting the world experience it. However they choose to experience. Some will hate it, some will love it, and some will be in between. But guess what? It'll be enough that love it enough that you will be able to live and be prosperous off of it. And that's all you're looking for. You're looking for the gift, the inheritance that God had in store from you from your time, before your time even stepping foot into this plane or this dimension, that you are to be, you were commissioned to have dominion over all things. Why? Because that was what the commission was given from the beginning of the existence of man on this planet. That was the rule. That was the covenant. That was the trust that God created. The reason why we don't live in that is because we have accepted the trust in man and not trust in God. The reason why we're having a hard time is because we trust in man's idea of what's right and wrong and not trusting the God within you. What was saying over here? Somebody said, believing in yourself and in ideas you never used to think possible is hard, also taking risk. Listen, y'all taking risk every day. You're taking a risk of not living out your true purpose until the day you die. That's a big risk to me. That's a bigger risk than trying to take a risk in some type of business. The bigger risk that I would like to, before I take my last breath, I would like to say, at least I did it or tried to do it. I experienced that. Let's see. It says happy Sunday, everyone. And DJ B Thunder said, I finally had a wonderful revelation about the recruitment when trying to teach my sons. Thank you. Oh, good. You see? Well, it's 10:54 Sunday. I'm not going to talk you guys' ear off for the rest of the morning. I think I gave you guys a lot. Actually, I got my Bible. I have a lot of Bibles, but this is the Holy Bible with the Apocrypha. If y'all can see that. Pull it back a little bit. Yeah, it's kind of tattered. It's kind of old. I bought it old, but I've used it a lot. And I decided to look at one of the books that they took out. The Wisdom of Solomon. See? Wisdom of Solomon. You can see that. See that? And I like something I want to read here. And it says, for wisdom is a kindly spirit, but we're not free blasphemers from the guilt of their words, because God is a witness to their inmost feelings, and a true observer of their hearts, and a hearer of their tongues. Man, that's powerful. It's saying God is listening to that word. The Spirit is always flowing, listening to what you're saying about yourself, and ready to give you what you ask for or what you say about yourself. Because the Spirit of the Lord has filled the world, and that which holds all things together knows what is said. Therefore, those who utter unrighteous things will not escape notice. Do you realize that? When you say negative things about yourself, negative things about your situation, negative things about other people, it's not going without notice. What you put out, you're going to get back. And justice, when it punishes, will not pass them by. Justice, see, a lot of people think justice is about somebody do something wrong and justice comes and fix it. That's a human form. But justice is simply, you're going to get your justice from the things you think, things you utter, and how you act or behave. Good or bad. So when you look back over the year, what based off your behavior, your habits, and the things you have invested your time in, are you receiving the justice from that? If the justice is you getting more of nothing, that means that's what you gave out. Nothing. If you're getting prosperity, that's what you gave out. That's what you invested time in. See, let's read it again. It says, those who utter unrighteous things will not escape notice, and justice, when it punishes, will not pass them by. For inquiry will be made into the counsels of the ungodly, and a report of their words will come to the Lord. You know this is all allegorical, right? That like this is metaphysical, high science. Yo, your words is going out there and it's going to be met. It's going to be weighed against the balance of things. And you're going to be measured according to your works. To convict them of their lawless deeds. Don't break that law. The law of reciprocity. All right. I think I gave y'all what you needed. So I'm going to send you off for the rest of your day. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. Hope to see you on the Money Ritual. I really appreciate if you guys give me some more likes. There's a lot more people in here. If you didn't like it, don't do it. I mean, but if you like it and you're enjoying it and you could use what I'm saying for your life, apply it, hit the like button. Share it. Share it with somebody that might need it. You know? All right, there. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Peace, prosperity, and extreme wealth to all. Peace, prosperity. Go through something to accomplish something. Say it again. You have to go through something to accomplish something. Unfortunately, a lot of people are not willing to go through something to accomplish something. It's too hard. That's too much. I hear people say it all the time. Man, that stuff you do, I couldn't do that. Working that hard and making all those phone calls, get those loads. I can't do it. That's too much. Basically what they're saying, it's easier for them to go work for somebody and be told what to do. That's what's easy. I think they just be talking when they say that. They don't really understand what they're saying. It's like Christ said when they had him up there, crucify him, and he said, forgive them, Father. They know not what they do. And I'll say to that, forgive them, Father. They know not what they say. They don't know the consequences of their very words. They don't know. It's that simple. Do you realize that you're receiving your reward of every word that you utter out of your mouth? There's a saying in the church, power of life and death is in the tongue. And that is very true. The power of life and death is in your tongue. The power of success and failure is in your tongue, in the words you utter. Not just the words you utter, the words you think. Because the thinking of the words come before you actually speak it. You have to double down on it, meaning you have to contract with the word before you speak it, right? You think about it, hey, this is what I'm thinking, and you speak it. You think about it, then you decide to speak it. You create a contract with your consciousness. Oh, I accept what this is as the truth, and I'm going to speak it now so that I can solidify it and see that it comes forth. You have to go through something to accomplish something. Say it again. You have to go through something